Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday night. Thursday night's the night for fighting here tonight. Thursday, the 15th of August. It is episode 145 of So What's Been Happening. And tonight we bring up one of our good friends, Electric Mary's greatest, Rusty Brown. Let's talk to him and see what's going on in his world. How are you, Rusty? Welcome back, mate. That internet is beautiful today. So it's going great already. All right, we've got a special guest tonight that we're going to talk to. This young gentleman has got a fantastic podcast you must check out. It is called Listen to This. So not only So What's Been Happening, but now we're talking about Listen to This. So out of every negative of COVID comes a great positive. And this is another one that's he's flying solo tonight. Listen to This is normally a podcast with two superstars, but tonight we bring up Adamo from Listen to This. Welcome, mate. Welcome to the show,
mate. That was a fantastic intro, Aaron, and thank you for the invite. And I feel honoured, mate. Thank you.
Well, tonight you're sporting the colours of the Mighty Hawks, who are on the up. At the moment. We'll talk about them in a little second, and we'll introduce a couple of the boys first. But we're lucky enough to have we're split who we've got on tonight. We haven't. We're going to have a couple of teams on, which is good, and we're going to talk a little bit about where we're up to, and we're going to get a few home truths told from a few of the boys against the opposition supporters here, and let's see how we go. But let's bring on the great Lovey, who's a fellow Essendon man. Let's bring him up for a quick chat. How are you, great man?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, we're very good. Just introduce you to Adam Adamo from Listen to This podcast, who's a good mate of mine.
Beautiful. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Nice to meet you. You're the Bombers supporter.
Yeah, pity about your shit colours, but that's all right. We'll get to that.
Fuck, you look like an Essendon supporter too.
Good to see it. Starting early, boys.
This bloke looks like he played in the 80s too. Look at the head on him.
I look like a bloke who's thrown his scarf over the fence too.
Yes.
Oh, no. Look, no hard feelings, mate. This is all. I think we're going to put a little disclaimer on the bottom of the screen there, Aaron. So, but this is no holds barred, yeah? So whatever gets said tonight, look, yes, I do run a podcast, Listen to This, and it's a little bit more tame. But I think tonight the gloves are coming off. And can't wait.
And tonight, obviously, Adam, you normally fly with a partner. Tonight, you're flying solo. What's going on there? No invite, or you thought you'd throw left hooks yourself?
Mate, if you think I can talk, mate, the bloke who sits on the left of me here, Rashid, he's as my dad would say when he was alive. You know, he's good, but he's shit. Try and work that out, mate. This bloke here, you think I can talk? Mate, I love. He's like a brother, but you just can't get a word in. So look, it's good to fly solo, and we're covering different topics. We're talking about footy tonight and other things that are probably not on his radar. He's a bit more worldly. He's got other kind of beliefs, and he's into religion and stuff like that. And yeah, we cover a lot of subjects in our podcast. So. With the footy and the stuff we're going to talk about, this is a little bit more of my interests and I've known Aaron a long time now, and he's at his podcast, and I try and support him. And we're always having a chat and supporting each other. And
It's good.
mate, I feel blessed to be on the program, and fuck, I can't wait. Let's do it.
All right, well, the gloves are off. The good news is, Lovey, that Adam's kind of done similar to what we've done, started a podcast to talk shit about life, of what's going on in his world. And he's had some great guests on, and it's well worth a listen. So we'll put up a little ad for that a little bit later in the show. But I'm not sure, Connor, which name to put up for you tonight, Adam. You've got so much on the go, mate. Just tell us a little bit about what else is happening in your world, mate. You're the paella king, Spanish flamenco, whether it be dancing, teaching, or guitar, mate, where does it stop with you?
Yeah, look, you can probably see a few instruments around. And when I was 9 years old, three brothers, we all had to learn an instrument, and I got stuck with the guitar. So yeah, music, it's been a theme during my whole life. Piano, it's just part of the soul. I've tried a few other things in life, but look, at the moment, this is my day job is I don't have a day job actually. I actually got a catering business. I cater paella, which is like a Spanish, their traditional Spanish meal, and I cater it for birthdays, corporate. Oh, you're going to bring something up on screen there, I thought. So look, I've got a mixture of things happening with the catering as well. Sometimes I play some Spanish guitar if they want, or a dance class. I had my own dance school for a few years back in my 20s. I know I put on a little bit of weight. Yeah, I had my own dance school, so sometimes I give a dance class. So it's catering, it's entertainment. It's called Around the Pan. Around the Pan. I should have actually. You got to pop up there. My Around the Pan. Yeah. So it's paella catering.
Nice.
So I do that on the weekends. It's quite busy. I've got a passion for food, talking, meeting people. So yeah, I do quite a range of things. But
what's the most sought after paella you've got? What is it? What's the one that everyone goes to?
Oh, look, I reckon everyone goes for. Look, a traditional paella is supposed to be seafood.
Yep.
It's a peasant meal. It's not supposed to be glorious. If you go to Spain, I lived in Spain for a while. It's not an actual glorious meal,
No.
not by any stretch. It's, the people like me and people around the world that have taken it, they've turned it into this great catering service. They've embellished it a bit, and it's good because everyone in this world at the moment's got a fucking gluten problem. They can't eat shit. So with the paella, right, it's all gluten-free, nut-free, egg-free. So everyone can eat it. So what do people like? Look, in this country, they love meat. So the chicken and chorizo goes really well, that paella. The seafood goes well, and the veggie goes well as well. So I'm just happy to be cooking and meeting people, and it's a great business. Great.
Good.
Yep, absolutely. Big pump up for that. But let's talk. Okay, so you've dabbled in a few things, Adam, but you might have listened to that intro that we played at the start of our podcast. It's been kindly lent to us by one of the greats from Electric Mary. If you don't know the band Electric Mary, make sure you jump on and check them out. But here's one of our great mates, and I'm lucky enough to call this guy a really close mate. He's the great Rusty Brown. Welcome back, mate. Who's big in Spain, mind you.
Hello,
He looks like
how are you? Am I on?
Welcome back, mate.
Thanks for having me. Look
This
at
is-
me, my whole forehead's there.
Dude,
Hola. Have you got your
Ole.
agua with you?
I've actually got this little drop here. Right.
Nice.
You can see that.
Yes. I love it.
It's called Strega. It's a liqueur. I got this just came back from Europe. I'm just cracking it open now. It's a liqueur. It comes from a place in Italy called Naples, which is just under Rome, about 2 hours on a train, and it's called Strega. It's a nice yellow. Oh, I've cracked that. All right.
Bust it open.
I love it. A few years ago, we were on tour in a little town in Spain. I can't remember what it was called actually. Anyway, the owner of the club / pub that we played in took us back to a apartment for a meal after the gig that her grandmother cooked, which was paella.
Oh, wow.
And it had chicken claws and everything in it. And I ate the chicken claws because I figured everyone had been eating that food for hundreds of years. So I'm not going to die from eating it on that day. And it came in the big, huge, what do you call that? Well, it's not a wok, obviously, but it's like
paella pan. Just a paella pan.
Paella pan. It was beautiful, like just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, the flavors, it's the look, it's the way they make the sauce that comes together, the rice, plus they're praying to God, they're touching, all the utensils. Yeah. It's just it brings people together. Food brings people together, and it's a peasant food. It's not supposed to be glorious, but it is wholesome, and it's food for the soul. So, yeah. Thanks for sharing that, mate. So what did you play? What did you play? What instrument? What band were you in?
Our band is called Electric Mary. I'm the
okay, that's right. Okay.
I'm the lead singer, and
yeah,
it was an awesome time. It was a great place. I wish I could remember where it was. We've never been back to that particular place again. But the whole of Europe is amazing, and food and drink, and you're welcome. Please come, eat, drink. It's a whole thing, and I say to people all the time, I wish when I was a younger kid, growing up in Heidelberg, that I had more of an open mind, because really all my friends were Italians and Greeks. I had Aussie friends, of course, too. And, they'd go, do you want to stay for dinner? And I'd look at what they're eating and go, no. I'm going home. Yeah, not rudely. But now I'd look at that food now and go, yes, I'm staying 100%. And whatever it is from your country, serve it to me. And serve it to me however you eat it, I'll eat it. I absolutely love it.
Music has definitely taught you that, Rusty, to be a little bit more worldly. Otherwise, you're not going to eat. Let's put it that way.
That's true.
It's a great place to be. Adam, just fill us in. What was that drink you were opening?
It's called Strega.
Oh, yeah.
Strega. You can only get it. You can only buy this in. You can get it in Rome. The price is high, but it's from Naples, from Napoli, and actually it's from a town called Benevento, which is where they make it. The factory is there, and look, you can get it from some Italian delicatessens in Melbourne. But it's great. It's a great this is a drink that the wogs have, that I can say that before a very special occasion. You rock up to someone's house and you have a little strega with some little, maybe some, a couple of dried biscuits. It's the first thing you have just before you eat, and you only have one.
Yep.
We just have one. We don't have 10. We just have one. It's a little appetizer.
It's looking a hell of a lot like olive oil. That you just straight olive oil you're drinking. All right. Well, we decided to crack a couple of drinks, so I'm going to open this one, mate. And sadly, this place is going under. 1865 from Beechworth, Bilson's. Now, I wouldn't normally tuck into one of these Bilson's vodka ready-to-drinks, but it's a tribute tonight to Bilson's. Hopefully someone picks them up, mate. They're a big deal, and to see a big business like that go under is disappointing. But so tonight we've got fellow Hawk here in Adamo. We've got Rusty representing the Swans. We've got Lovey
and North Heidelberg.
Rusty and Lovey obviously representing the Bombers, or the Bombrays, or the disappointing pretenders for the year, sadly. But we'll get to that in a second. But we've got one more special guest that's aptly tuned in, and one of our show favourites who we love, has had a good journey, but the show's over, fair to say, for the Tigers. Let's bring him up. Welcome back, Grummet.
Hey guys, how are you?
Eddie?
Good, mate.
Hey, mate.
Very good.
I'm feeling terrible at the moment, so like I feel like as good as we're playing.
Well, you beat the Swannies.
We beat the Swans. That was the highlight of the year.
That's
must
your
be
only
feeling-
highlight. I'm pretty sure I told you at the start of the year that you were going nowhere.
We're going nowhere.
I predicted
No.
the Swans and the North Heidelberg would win the premiership.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us will, but that's all right. We're up on the top of the ladder and second in North Heidelberg.
Yes, well, the bottom line is, mate, let's move to that game. Hawks versus the Tigers this week.
Shoe in this one. Huh. Don't even turn up.
Bottom line is, mate, any danger? Richmond are going to fire a shot. Eddie, give us some hope for the Tiger supporters. Why should they turn up this week?
Look, I reckon Richmond are saving it all for the final game of the year to beat the Suns. Like, that's the only hope we've got this year. Like, if we can beat the Suns, I'll be happy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, I think, can I just say this because it's a bugbear of mine right now? Richmond supporters are soft. They are weak.
What if you are like
Now,
walked
wait,
into?
let me speak. They're all over SEN saying, oh, yeah, we should bottom out, get rid of the players. No, you won 3 out of 4 premierships. You should still be in the 8. You should have found some other boy. You found Hopper and the other one from GWS.
Toronto.
But your awesome coach left right in the middle of it because he'd lost his desire for football, but found it 3 weeks later. He should be hauled over the coals. His photo should be taken down from the hallways of Richmond. And your other stupid coach you got now from Melbourne, I mean, he's not going to know anything anyway because he's from Melbourne. Because what was the first thing he did? Take the premiership photos down from the hallways. We don't want a reminder of that. Yes, you do. You won 3 out of 4 premierships, grand finals in 4 years. You're the best side by a mile. How is it that Richmond people just go, oh, yeah, we should bottom out? No, you shouldn't. You have 90,000 members. You won't have 90,000 members when you're on the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to win the wooden
It's
spoon.
it's a modern day way of being weak and just there's no heart in that. Richmond is supposed to be the Tigers with the roar and the, you got the best song in the friggin' game.
We do have the best song.
All you do is hear.
All right, Aaron.
All you hear about on SEN is Richmond supporters saying that they should bottom out, and it's annoying to me. Like, don't do it. Don't say that you want to bottom out. Say that you want to stay in the 8. You don't have to win the premiership every year, but you should be staying in the 8. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
Eddie, are you okay?
I'm good. Like, I don't want to win the wooden spoon. I think that we've still got a chance. I'm going right to the final game here. Like, I thought we had a little bit of a chance against the Saints, but like, no go there. I got to put it out there. I'm not a fan of Yusef for Richmond. Like, I think that he has not been a good choice. I think we've got players coming through, which is good, but yeah, I agree. Like, the Tigers need to be in the 8. In fact, I would love to see the core Victorian clubs back in the 8. To be honest,
does that mean that if he brought all the premiership photos and everything down off the walls next year, do you spray a bunch of wooden spoons across them, or
What? Seriously, I want to talk over you. Why would that be a decision if you're a coach? Remember when Scott came in with North Melbourne and said, well, we're getting rid of the shin boner spirit. They've never done anything since. They've done nothing.
They have done nothing.
To do nothing.
Yeah.
Like, what? You don't take away the history of teams.
Yeah.
It's rubbish. It's a modern.
I'm
way
interested
of
to see
getting-
how much of these rumors are true. Like, but we'll see. Only time will tell. Like, I would love Rioli to stay. I'm a fan of Bolton. I reckon he's good. Like wherever he ends up, but you just never know. I would be devastated if Dusty went to Gold Coast. Like that would not be good. But look, I just think we've got to keep pushing. Rusty, who do you go for? I don't even know who you go for.
Swans.
The Swans.
So
How did Richmond beat the Swans?
It was the Wicks effect.
Yeah,
It was the only game you were ever going to win. I knew that.
really?
Oh, it's one of those things that happens in clubs and nobody likes it, but it happens. Anyway, next subject now.
Next subject.
Well, the next subject, sadly, and we'll touch on it quickly, is what's the reality of this actually happening?
I don't think so.
We've discussed this many a times, Eddie.
Yeah.
To taint that legacy would be disappointing.
Yeah.
But and he doesn't need the cash, let's face it. But what's the lure?
I don't think there is any lure. Like Suns aren't going anywhere in the next few years. Like they're going to stay roughly where they are. I think that all it's going to do is taint their legacy. Like they could make the 8, but they're not going to go beyond. They're not going to make the top 4 like in the next 4 or 5 years. I don't think so. Like, I don't know. Like, it wouldn't be good. I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Lee Matthews put out that the 3 top players this century was Buddy Franklin, Patrick Dangerfield, and Gary Ablett Jr. All of them are 2-team players. I just want Dusty to be a 1-team player. Like I reckon that would be good. It's a shame that he's ended on what he has, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, just on that, I'm going to throw to you, Adam, because
Yeah.
two players that have probably left the Hawks that went on to go to other clubs, and I don't believe one of them tainted their legacy at all with Buddy Franklin. And Rusty, you can comment on that, what he did up at the Swannies. But from the other end is someone like Dermot Brereton, okay, that left the Hawks,
Went to
superstar
Collingwood.
in his day, actually went to 2 other clubs, Sydney and Collingwood. Do we really remember those days from Sydney and Collingwood, though? And is that considered to be a tarnished legacy? Or is what he did at Hawthorn, he will always be a Hawthorn man?
Yeah, he's. I mean, what he played in 83, 86, 88, 89, 91 grand final. I think he's 5-time.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, his stories. It's all about the Hawks. The Alan Jeans things. He's, the father figure. I mean, yeah. Look, he had 1 year at Collingwood. I think. How many did he have at Sydney? 1 or 2?
1.
Yeah, he had 1 there. Look, if they get even Gary Ablett, he went back to Geelong. There was that kind of story there, the romance story of him going back for a couple of years. Look, he's finished it. You got to understand, Dusty's given so much to Richmond. He's given his soul. He's given so much to the club. People have bought Guernseys. They've capitalised on him. He's given heart and everything. If he goes to if he ends now and goes away for a year or 2, it's not for, it's to help kids. It's for other opportunities. It's for the Gold Coast. It's the lifestyle. You can't sit there, I don't think, and say that the one club player that's in the past. Those days are gone. Now it's a big industry. There's a lot of money at play. Look, if you go to another club at the end of your career, 32, 33. It's not like you're going at 26 and you're going to do what a fucking Petrarca's going to do soon. He's going to leave, Melbourne. That's a bit different. But, he's got every right to. Like Petrarca, that's another story. But
name Name the best one team player of all time.
Lee Matthews.
Lee,
Yeah.
Lee Matthews,
Easily.
Yeah.
900 goals, 1,000 goals as a midfielder. What?
So the legacy of Lee Matthews is pretty good, in pretty good shape. So
To
many
me,
years.
he's the number one football person ever.
Yeah.
Coaching, playing, even his commentary is good when he talks. You listen.
Yeah.
Oh, if I can go to Adam's point about one club players now doesn't work anymore, in this century, who'd be the best one club player that you've seen?
Oh, jeez.
And
It's
there's
a
not many.
no-brainer. It has to be Dusty.
Yeah, it has to be. Has to be Dusty. For now.
For now.
Yeah, it's very hard to say. Probably on Chris Judd. No.
I mean, I'd put Pendlebury up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, got to be Pendlebury.
Wait a second. It's five for one club player.
I'd put Brent Harvey.
Pendlebury doesn't have impact like Dustin Martin did, though. He did miraculous things. He's a great player, though, Pendlebury. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, there's probably some others that we probably haven't thought of. But...
I think Pendles was a bit stiff on getting a second normie last year, and people forget how well he played in the John Grand Final. And Lenny Hayes got that Norm Smith too, so you could have been looking at a 3-time normie as well, just for a couple of kicks difference the other way. I think to Adam's point, it's harder to find a really good one club player in this century now, just because of the way it works.
Rewalt from St Kilda.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Boomer. Can't forget Boomer. We forget him quickly.
Boomer.
Yeah.
Harvey from St Kilda.
Yeah, Robert Harvey. Yep. Yeah, there's a few. There is a few.
If you go back to Dermot for a minute, I was actually at the ground, Glenferrie Oval, when he stood on Raiden Tullis's head and got 9 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
I went to training in Sydney and watched him train, way better than everybody else. Every time he made a slight mistake, he dropped for 20. Not one other player did it. Not one. And then I was there against Melbourne, stood right behind him when the siren went, and he was 50 out on the angle and slotted it straight through the centre for our first win. He was a genius, mate. He was injured with the Swans, though.
I loved his brain snaps, like Raiden Tallis, Billy Duckworth, that whole thing about Dermy was just, that made him awesome.
Yeah. Carey, obviously we're forgetting Carey as well, boys. There's been a few.
No, he's a 2-club player.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once again, a somewhat tarnished legacy.
He's very easy to forget.
Yeah, correct.
Missus will probably do that.
What about
Luke Hodge?
What about
Robbie Flower?
People like
Cloud
Cloud and stuff like that. Or, Peter Matera. Like, there's a lot of good players that we probably forget.
Well, then it comes down to, double club players or 2 clubs that actually were great at both clubs. And that's one of the challenges as well. Like, I can think of Judd being one, Ablett another, Plugger, the Wiz. Let's talk about the Wiz. Hey,
let's leave the Wiz out of it. Greg Williams was great at 3 clubs.
Yep. Yeah, true. All 3.
Who did he play for? Carlton and who else?
Geelong and the Swans.
Yeah.
Surely Dale Kickett gets a mention, particularly for his last ever game. Rio.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Well, I do need to touch on, obviously, we've got a Hawk and a Bomber who generally, the 2 clubs aren't big fans of each other. Let's face it. There's only one worst we hate, which we haven't represented tonight, is Carlton. And that's one of the great slides for this year, which we're all loving at the moment, and long may it continue. But we talk about the great moments in amongst this for the battles these 2 clubs have had over time. There's some genuine hate between these 2 clubs. So, Lovey, I want you to give me a few words on probably what we can expect, because I want you to mention on what we can expect now of the Hawks and that's probably going to be a hard pill to swallow. But are they the real deal at the moment? I know they're very young and they're coming forward, but what do you see in a young coach like Mitchell that probably hasn't happened in Uze with Richmond yet?
The thing for me with, first and foremost, Adam, Sam Mitchell's a scumbag, so we'll start with that one. But I think
he's a fucking pioneer. He's going to have another statue next to Alistair Clarkson. What are you fucking talking about?
Mate, you can have your chocolate little statues. I couldn't give a fuck. They look like Easter bunnies. But the point is, what Sam Mitchell's got, that most other rookie coaches don't have, has been previous success as a player and in a successful club. Adam Uze got to a grand final at Melbourne, but also suffered some pretty tumultuous years there at one football club he's had. Yes, he'd been fairly successful as an assistant coach, but I can tell you, even at local level, the amount of pressure, stress, but also the knowledge you have to have additional to being from an assistant coach to being a senior coach has to come from your experience previous to that role that you have done. That's why Mick Malthouse was so successful. He was really good as a footballer on top of the fact that he was an excellent coach. Lee Matthews speaks for himself. Kevin Sheedy speaks for himself. You go to the modern days. Michael Voss is a very, very good coach. And one day that shit club will probably get it together under him. But I think with the Hawks, Sam Mitchell's just given them a bit of free rein. Everyone's talking about all the goal celebrations and that, and there's nothing that makes me throw bricks at my TV more when I see it. But the fact of the matter is, he's allowing them to play to their natural instincts. So many coaches try and coach that out of their players. And Goody did it for 1 year, and look what happened. They won a flag. Every other year, he's been panicking about his own role. I'm sure of it. Sammy Mitchell just continuously evolves himself. He doesn't have actually, if you think about it, and Adam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I actually don't think that there's a distinct pattern about the way the Hawks actually play football, apart from the fact they just move forward regardless. That's kind of all they do.
They're young, they run with the ball, yeah, they're just free.
It's free will. And whilst they're young enough to do it, you absolutely fucking do it. And they are torching sides at the moment. 8 weeks ago, I would have backed Essendon to beat them by about 4 goals. Right now, they would torch us by about 80 points. And that's embarrassing from our perspective, but it says more about Hawthorn than it does us. And I think the fact that Hawthorn's bounced back so quick, it just goes to the calibre of what that club's about, I think, and it always has been. Probably you can go back, you want to go back talking about players from 50 years ago, you can go back talking about clubs from 50 years ago. This mob's had it together since 1971. And they've won 13 flags in that time. There's a reason for that. And it's because they don't put up with bullshit. They're not a mediocre accepting club. And they just get on with being better at what they do, and they back their young blokes in. If you want to be a Hawk supporter, the way you're talking, you're pretty smart. You don't come across as fucking shit. This was a show about mental health to start with, Adam, and I really don't want to go down that path. If you ask me to follow Hawthorn, it's bad enough now, but it'd be even worse if I followed the piss and shit. So for me, that's about as good as it'll get from me with the Hawks. But I actually think, Adam, to answer your last, Aaron, to answer your last question, can they go all the way? Richmond came from 13th the following the previous year. So why not?
Yeah, because you know why? Because nobody else was any good when Richmond won the premierships. Nobody.
In 2017?
Nobody.
Come on, Russ. Adelaide only lost 5 games that year.
Who?
Adelaide.
Did they win the grand final? Did they win the grand final?
Adelaide had one shit day at the office. Just unfortunate it was the last day of the year.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, Rusty, we move to this week. Let's see if these Bombers can do any damage to the Swannies. Can the Swannies even get it together? That's the question I want to pose.
Yeah, I reckon Essendon's in with the show because we flog them most times. They don't beat us hardly ever. And I reckon, you know, they should show a bit of intestinal fortitude for Heppel and give him something. give him a shot, maybe get into the 8. I reckon they can still get in the 8. I always blame Adrian Dodorio. Is that his name?
Yep.
I reckon he just picks. Reckon he picks rubbish players.
That
They
deals
have
the
this certain thing about them. They look nice. They're shiny in the paddock and stuff. But I don't know.
Yep. Well, there's
I
one
reckon
thing.
they can win, Essendon. I really do.
Righto.
Who's
So
gonna-
I don't
who's-
want them
me
to,
there's a chance. Yeah!
which is annoying.
No chance, mate. No chance.
is there a
Essendon, I reckon they could.
No, I don't
No,
reckon.
they won't show up. They never haven't showed up all year, like Melbourne.
We'll get to Melbourne. You'll
Who's
have your
gonna
chance.
Who's gonna finish top of the?
They nearly beat
top
us
of
the
ladder?
first time.
Yeah,
Beat
the
them
ladder.
by a
boys,
couple of
ladder.
arsey. I was there the day Plugger kicked the point. We should never have beat them that day.
All
Remember when Gary Rowan took the mark in the goal square? We should never
It is-
have beat them that day.
This is making me
Never.
feel very nice. Yeah, no, it's great. It's good.
Nah,
That's like-
I'm serious. You know that. We shouldn't have beat them
Corresponding-
that day.
Corresponding game last year at Marvel, we lost by 2 points. We should never have lost that game.
Which one was that? Was there a significant moment?
Yeah, it was about round 20. We were 4 goals up halfway through the
Yeah.
last quarter.
Yeah.
Gee, I'll tell you what. We
I
could
think
write
it's pretty ballistic.
a big list of the ones we shouldn't have lost between all of us as clubs. That's for sure. But the question you ask, Eddie, who is going to get it done? The Swannies have lost all the advantage they had other than one game here. The question is, can Port take the mantle, or are the Swannies just going to hold them out now?
What about GWS?
Yeah, where are they sitting on points?
56.
Yeah, they're thereabouts. Yep.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
might get 'em.
GWS. It's like Footscray in 2016. They weren't the best side, but they're the grand final. They won the premiership. They were the best side in the last 4 weeks.
Unfortunately, Hawthorn will keep getting wound in each week from here on in until such time someone knocks them out.
Yeah, I
We
reckon
beat them
probably
by
true.
78 points.
Means fuck all 3 weeks ago now, Ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
know,
the
that's
Tigers'
what-
big claim to fame this year was knocking the Swannies off. So,
Nasty.
who would have thought? Eddie's still talking about it.
It was only round 3 when it happened.
Yeah, it was a pre-season game almost. That
Look-
little time ago.
Look, I think we will. We do this for a lot of clubs this time of year. We allow the clubs to get back into form by playing against us, and I think the same will happen this week. And I honestly think if we can get within 4 or 5 goals of City, that's been a good night for us. In all honesty, it really is. From where we are at as a club on the field right now, if the opportunity arises, I'll talk about off field because it's a bit bigger. But the Sydney Swans will wrap up top spot on Friday night. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about
Yeah.
You got off-field problems?
it. Oh God, it's a bear shit in the woods. You got Dodoro, you've got Barham, you've got a very very piss weak board who said they'd be tough after the whole post drugs debacle and Worsfold coming in to try and hold the ship. Nothing's changed at Essendon in 3 years.
I think nothing's changed in Essendon in about 15.
No, but
Yeah,
I'm just saying there was promise of change from
Yeah.
Barham all the way down,
Absolutely.
and fuck all's happened.
Yeah. Three rebuilds later and nothing's happened.
That's
It's frustrating.
But it's a problem with your society in general at the moment. Everyone wants to be all talk, and no one does fuck all.
Yeah.
Everyone does no one does anything. They just like to have a chat and get on and say this is what they'll do, particularly in sporting clubs and shit, and then they fucking do nothing.
Yeah.
Everyone just gets jack of it.
Well, speaking of doing nothing and getting jack of it, it's probably a good lead into the Demons for this week, boys. Talk about throw it away. Fair to say the window hasn't jammed shut yet, but it bloody closed quickly. Concerned is probably the key word for tonight for me. should I be, boys, or is
Yeah.
it all going to wash itself away?
No.
Kick us off.
Who'd you lose at the start of the year?
Well, I don't think we've recovered since then, since Brayshaw, for sure.
Right. Oliver's never been fit. You're going to lose Neil Bullen at the end of the year, who, by all reports, is the most respected man in the club.
Yep.
You've got a coach that has chosen not to evolve what he does and how he does it. You've got a club that for 3 years running has not filled a gap up forward. You got away with it the 2021 premiership because there was pinch hitters all over the place, but everyone caught up with that.
Yep.
I've been a defender of Melbourne a lot over that time. The fact of the matter is you guys finished top 2 the previous 2 years to this one, just didn't get it done in finals. And that's the harsh reality of it. I think the window is almost shut. In fact, I would, if I was Melbourne, I'd almost be going next group. I really would. I'd be keeping your top 6 and just start to bring in a lot more good young footballers that they've clearly got at Casey.
Yep.
And but again, that depends on the appetite that these Muppets like Pert and Roffey and Goodwin, how much do they want to just protect their own positions in the club at the expense of taking that plunge and just reinvigorating the list?
Yeah, well, I think you're right. Eddie, we'll give you a chance to tee off on us before we let you go. I'm sure. What do you see in the Demons, mate? Is it obviously everyone talked about, could they do it again? Could they start to be the new what Richmond did? They played a very similar style of footy in 21, got the premiership done. Then we couldn't get it done, whether we tried to change things or whatever happened. Hawthorn have just proven that Richmond style of footy actually still works if you're good enough and fit enough and your skills are on. But you tell me, Eddie, where are we going wrong here? Can you pinpoint anything other than everything?
I'm just looking at what's happened in the 20s. Like we've had one team win a premiership every single year, and I can see that happening again this year, a new fresh club. I can see it happening next year. I think that we're looking at a new era of football. Like, has that ever happened where you've gone through a decade and 10 clubs have won 10 like the premiership every year?
I wouldn't have thought so.
The 90s were pretty varied.
Yeah. 90s,
yeah. Well, North Melbourne won 2.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Adelaide went back to back 70, 97.
I just feel like going back to Hawthorn surge, like I'm a fan of Sam Mitchell. And I'm not a fan because I did a photo shoot with him 20 years ago and he was actually quite painful to deal with, but he knew what he wanted. Really? He knew what he wanted to do. And what was funny was that he has something that I can see that Yusef does not have, and that is the killer instinct. Like he really is hungry for it. And like I think that will carry any club through the finals. Richmond was definitely not the best side of 2017, but we just kept on going. Do you know what I mean? Like Footscray as well. Like in 2016, I don't think we were the best team in 2020. Like I think that we are seeing a new era of football. I think and I think that Melbourne has. I can't see where Melbourne goes from here. Like I think that you've had the windows closed. Like I feel, unfortunately, I feel like I'm glad bloody hell someone we've shut down Collingwood. That's the one that concerned me the most. But I'm looking at the ladder going Collingwood, Carlton, and Essendon are all out of the 8. So does that remain that way?
It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it?
It's very strange in the way that, and I think the way that the premiership's wide open this year, I feel like it's going to be like that for. I agree with you, Eddie. I reckon it could be like that for the rest of this decade. Certainly, I don't see an absolute dominant force coming through. It probably should have been Melbourne at one point in time. It should have been the Dogs 2 or 3 years ago because of the profile of their list and how young it was. And now that they've done nothing with their list really, apart from the 2021 grand final.
I think success can come from pain though, and I think the team that
I'm still waiting, Ed. I'm still waiting, mate. Just
the team that I keep looking at this year that has gone through pain to get to this point, whether you like them or not, I think GWS looking they're doing everything right. And you know what? Love him or hate him, Toby Green is so Giants, and that's what I mean. Imagine Toby Green playing for another club. It's not right. Like it's like seeing Patrick Cripps play for another club. It's not right. Like that's when talk of Rioli going to another club. I just look at it and go, Rioli's so Richmond. Like, and Yusef, like whether he becomes a good coach or not, at the end of the day, he's not Richmond. I don't really care. Like, I'm not invested. Like Sam Mitchell, I feel like because he played. Sam Mitchell played for West Coast, didn't he?
For 1 year, yeah. I think the last year
always been Hawthorn, yeah.
So just on that, Eddie, how did you get swayed by Hardwick? Because it took 9 years to win the flag with him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't
the thing that I like about Hardwick even now is that, like, I've seen images of Yusef through the year, and I remember saw him. I was watching the North Melbourne game, and I noticed he was in the crowd with his mate. I'm just looking at it going,
hear a damn thing.
Why are you at a different game to begin with? Like, and why are you smirking? You're last on the ladder. Like, I'm just not a fan of like the start. Like, football's serious. You want to win. You people want to see that they're really serious. And I think that with Hardwick, he's pretty full on character. Like, he totally did a doozy on Richmond. Like, but it is what it is. Like, he was there at the right time at the right place, and in like, I don't know if I see him as fully Richmond, but he was the right person at the right time. Like, he was a tough coach, and I think he played tough. So I think sometimes that's what you need. I think Sam Mitchell is coaching like the way he played. Like, I always relate Sam Mitchell to what's his name, Nathan Buckley. And Nathan Buckley, like, he was just relentless the whole time. Like, and Sam Mitchell is so hungry for success.
Yep.
Well, you got to think, going on Hardwick, just to talk about that, like, you got to understand, he won a premiership with Port Adelaide. Yeah. He won premierships at Essendon, and he had the guidance of great mentors of, Alistair Clarkson. So the recipe there is for success. There's a lot of people that, you can win, around week by week, you get your 4 points. But once you get to finals, and I can say this being a Hawk supporter and having my kids play and coming up to a grand finals, but we'll talk about that. But finals footy is kill or be killed. It's like when Hawthorn played Sydney in that 2014 grand final. I think on the footy show, they're all talking about, I think Hawthorn lost their last two, or they were a little bit down. They just got through to the grand final. I think they just beat Adelaide by a kick. Anyway, they were all talking about, like, Sydney's going to win, Sydney's going to win, Sydney's going to win. By the end of the first quarter, Hawthorn, Sydney grand final, I think it's 2014, the game was over. We were 40 points up, mate, because, like, Alistair Clarkson's one out of the box because I don't think he played in any did he play in any grand finals? No. So he was one out of the box. So, mate, it breeds success, like just having, leaders there that have, won. They've, finals footy is so much different. And Sam Mitchell, he'd be in the top 5 players of I think he's one of the top 5.
I would have put him in the top 10, maybe. I wouldn't have put him in top 5.
Mate, he was the extractor, mate. He was there. Mate, for him to get a break in footy, it's not like now. He had to work his ass off. Like, he was...
Are you saying top 5 of all time?
No, of Hawthorn.
No, of all time.
I would put him in my top 5. I would put him in my top 5.
I wouldn't put him in top 5.
He's a 4-time premiership player.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you put? Burden. I mean,
Brereton for sure. You have to put Lee Matthews.
Lee Matthews.
Mike Stark.
Gary Ayres.
No.
Gary
Gary Ayres, Buchanara.
Knights.
Yeah, look,
better
you
than
just-
Buchanara. He's
But-
better than Buchanara.
Where's Dunstall?
Yeah.
Where's
Dunstall.
Dunstall?
Don
Oh, you
Scott.
put him top 10. You put him top 10. I'll put him in top 10. Yeah, probably top 10. But, you know, like
Greg
in those,
Madigan.
Shane
in those
Crawford.
Shane Crawford, in those early years, like he had to really bust the gut. He had to play at Box Hill, and he was like every year he was like best and fairest winner, and he still didn't get a break for like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
He worked his ass off, mate. He's, but you think about it, right? If we were sitting here having this chat 12 weeks ago, you wouldn't be. No one would be. Like 12 weeks ago, no one knew about these kids. Weddle, look at Weddle, mate. He's 195 centimeters. When he gets that ball on the back line, he's off, mate. McKenzie, McDonald, mate. No one knew these kids.
You know, that's what I have
ago.
also noticed in the last year is that when I talk about a new era of football, you've got all these kids coming through, and I don't know how old all of you guys are, but I've never seen players pack around to get a selfie to post up after the game. It's just so weird. But even
Very American.
But some of the victories they're doing, like the shooting of the gun, like the all of this kind of stuff, it's just like you can see that it's a new era coming through. Like they don't know any better. Like I just can't. I just think, what are their dads thinking in the crowd? Like, oh God.
Yeah, I'm a bit like you, Eddie, but I begrudgingly accept it because back in our time when we were kids, we had the opportunity to run onto the ground after the game and meet our heroes and try and get an autograph off them and all that sort of stuff. And then everyone just decided that everyone got a bit wokey because Warwick Kappa had a stubby in the back of his head at Vic Park one day. So the whole thing was completely banned and all the rest of it through player safety, which I do get. So I guess this is kind of the other way around it, right? Isn't that there's obviously a select few. If you're good enough, if you're lucky enough on the front of the fence or whatever, you get interaction with the players. I think it's pretty cool like that. Yeah, there's a bit of Americanism on some of the stuff during the game, which kind of, you know, it is what it is. I mean, swings and roundabouts, you act like a smart ass, you'll look like a dumb ass about 5 minutes later if you're not careful. That's what the sport will do. So they can do whatever they like, I guess, and it'll bite them on the bum at some stage, but good luck to them.
But Hawthorn in particular seems to be that team this year where they're really getting around that whole social media aspect. Like it's pretty funny, like to see. I think Hawthorn will go a long way in the finals.
But you look at last year, you couldn't get the smiles off the Collingwood footballers.
I know. It's so good to see their faces now.
Yeah, I know, but I know, but to your point, it goes to what a good environment does to a football club. We probably don't see enough of the Sydney Swans down here in Victoria, but I'm sure that their culture's never changed since Paul Gelly days and Paul Roos. So they've always been pretty strong since the mid-90s, and I think they'll just keep. I think they're still a pretty happy joint up there in the Swans. I don't think they're too worried about the last month.
What do you think of John Longmire as a coach? I love him. I reckon he's good.
I'll let Rusty talk to that.
Yeah.
Before the 14-minute mark of the last quarter, he was gone.
Cooked.
I'll tell you this. You should know this if you've been around footy. And I'm coached junior football. Coached the premiership where the assistant coach made the 2 best moves. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't even know. Yep. But he made the moves. It's the people around you. It's a core group of people. And for me, like you always blame the coach because the coach is the head.
Yeah.
But I would say the Swans don't make any moves. They're big on that other thing that shites me. Let's just let the process do its thing, you know? I hate that. You're
So
8
do I.
goals behind, mate. Your process is not working.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the Swans for a lot of years. I'm 64 years old. When we played Port Adelaide 2 weeks ago, it got to 11 goals to zip. I just turned it over to the Olympics and just went, nah, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. I'm having a Bailey's on the rocks, by the way, boys. It's lovely.
Very nice, mate. Just on that, Rusty, who's next after the great John Longmire? Who takes over?
Big Cox.
Well, I hope it's not Cox.
Well, I think Cox will be out of there, to be honest. But I think McWalter sounds like he's the front runner for the West Coast gig at the moment. So from all reports, but I think Richmond missed their man with McWalter, as I said to Eddie today. I think he was the right man for there. But then again, it's always hard to come up after a premiership and who coaches next, and that's the challenge.
Jared McVeigh.
Yeah, I think that might be not a bad option, to be perfectly honest, Rusty. I don't know the rest of the assistant coaches there, but I know did McVeigh leave there?
Who?
McVeigh. He was
No,
there
he's
for a
been-
while. Wasn't
They're both there, Mark McVeigh and Jared McVeigh.
How long has Longmire been there?
13 years, I think.
Yeah, 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's happening down at Melbourne there? There's a bit of trouble in what's going on there, Aaron? You got something to talk about?
Thanks for
You want to share your feelings?
thanks for cracking open that can of worms. I'm so glad I brought you on now.
What's
look,
going on, mate?
It's fair to
It's a
say
big can.
that it's fair to say that the boys have been drinking a little bit of this. I think a bit of their own.
Yeah, a bit of fucking white line fever.
Well, who is the most disappointing club of the year, apart from Richmond? Like, surely for me, it's St Kilda. What
it's
the
Melbourne.
hell?
No, it's
Melbourne.
not.
No, it's Melbourne.
Melbourne.
I can tell you it's
But
Melbourne.
where is St Kilda going?
Who cares? Sorry about that.
Next year they might be all right. I reckon next year. Need one more year.
On shit
I think
football. I hate them. I can't stand them.
We've
So
said that for a little while, but just on the Demons, I really don't know where to from here, to be perfectly honest. I'm hoping it's all going to blow over a little bit, but Rusty's 100% right about the coach. Now, Goodwin's getting kicks in the balls left, right, and centre. We all know that. And Adam, I know you've got a very strong opinion on Simon Goodwin, but it is about
Yeah,
got around. And we've got 3 other senior coaches that have done good jobs at other clubs backing these things. But you're 100% right, Rusty. I've had a gutful of hearing about the process, and all I know is the process is fucked at Melbourne right now. And the process worked when the process was just get the footy and kick it forward quickly. And then when you turn it, if they get it, you tackle them and we get it back and do it again. That style of footy has done a great job with the Hawks this year. It won us a flag. It won Richmond 3. I really don't think that part of the game is gone. Collingwood they did it for a while. So I don't know. I'm really at a loss. I think, they're going to try and make moves on Goodwin. Goodwin's not going anywhere. That's the reality.
He's gone.
I don't believe so, but we'll see.
no, Goodwin will be given 2025.
Yep.
And what will happen is all of his assistant coaches will disappear because there needs to be a scapegoat somewhere.
Yep.
And I think if it's not Goodwin, then it needs to be the next level down, and it needs to be the assistant coaches. And to be fair, if I'm the forwards assistant coach at Melbourne Football Club the last 2 or 3 years, either I've been hamstrung with my hands tied behind my back begging for some tall forwards and I've not been given them to work with, or I am really shit at my job and I cannot develop a key forward to save myself. So it's one or the other. So there's your forward assistant coach.
Yep.
And your defensive assistant coach. I tell you what, if you just keep letting Lever and May run their own ship, yes, they're very good at what they do, but make them just know your job. You're on field. Just do your job on field and stop trying to coach the whole of that back six. Again, is the defensive assistant coach having any effect on that group? I would say no. So again, all of that stuff needs to be reviewed.
Yep.
Now the problem is it's more off field. It's more, mate.
Yep.
The problem's more off field. It's look, Goodwin. He had a few things. Look, everyone's got a private life and stuff like that. I know he's had a bit of a hard time. It's off field. It's the culture.
Yeah. So then, Adam, I'm really big on culture at football clubs, and I've seen good ones and really shit ones. And Melbourne are really on the borderline of, they're on a knife's edge right now with their culture, right? So they've got a list that's good enough to be winning premierships. They've got a club that had it all together not so long ago. So the question has to be, if people like Goodwin and Gawn and other players potentially are copying shit left, right, and centre in the public domain, who in the hell in that back office is actually putting their hand up to get out in the front foot and back these people in and defend them and take the heat off them? Fucking Roffey is an absolute disgrace of a president. She's done nothing. She's done nothing except self-congratulate herself for the last 2 years. This year it's gotten tough. Haven't heard shit from her. Her social media is just pathetic. And then you look at Gary Pert. The comments from Gary Pert this week in the open letter and everything else denying his cultural. Are you kidding? You had some poor bloke strung out at the end of last year and during the pre-season, and they've thrown Gawn out the front to try and make out that Paul Clayton's actually there's been no issues, and that we've taken him in, we've taken him under his wing, and all the rest of it. That should have been Gary Pert. That should have been Roffey. That should have been, to a lesser extent, Simon Goodwin. Now, one hand's not talking to the other at that club, and it's really, really splitting them right down the middle. And they need to just get their shit together as soon as they possibly can before they do lose the potential for that list to do some damage next year.
Yep. Well said. I think you're right.
Sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about backline coaches before, and Greg Stafford, sorry, mate. You're not.
He was a fucking ruckman.
Correct. You're not a backline coach. You never have been. You never will be.
He couldn't even drop back a kick behind play properly. Ask Rusty. He was shitty ass at it.
What?
Stafford.
Stafford.
He was a ruckman. He's fucking useless.
He had a couple of good moments. Yeah. He came down here and played for Richmond, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
How'd that go, Eddie?
That's when Richmond was shit too.
I was gonna change it a little bit. What about the team that won't go away, Geelong?
Yeah. Well, you've got to take your hat off.
They're one game outside top spot.
Who have they got this week?
They have got
shit kickers.
St Kilda, mate. St Kilda playing. They're playing for their lives, though. They're all on notice. They're all on notice. St Kilda. That's a marvel.
Yeah. St Kilda are rigging up for one thing.
And then wait a second. Geelong plays St Kilda, then they play the Eagles. They've got a shot at top spot.
Yeah. Port would have to drop. Port would have to drop. But I get your point, Eddie. I agree. I think Geelong's another good example.
No one's talking about them. That's why I'm pointing it out, because I just think that even in the press, they're just going under the radar at the moment and going, wait a second.
But it kind of sucks. But who are the three most successful clubs in the last 10, 15 years? It's the three around the top. It's the Hawks, the Cats, the Swans. And it's because they change a bit, so some things still stay the same.
Yeah.
Just...
Did you just say the Hawks?
Sorry?
Yeah.
Did you say the Hawks?
Last 15 years? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I thought you said 3 years.
No.
Yeah, no, they've been successful, but they've been rubbish for a few years. Hawthorn. Geelong's probably the most successful, followed by us. The problem with
Mate,
us is we've been in more grand finals than anyone since '96, but we've lost the most as well. We've been in 7 grand finals and lost 5.
Yeah.
Gee.
And been absolutely flogged in 3 of them. Like, just flogged.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
2022 grand final was disappointing.
Oh, my Lord.
I got absolutely hammered because you blokes were shit. I just thought there's nothing else better to do. I'll keep drinking.
Let's not talk about being flogged in grand finals. We've got a pretty good record of it too, just quietly. 88, thanks Hawks. 2000, thanks Bombers. They're 2 of the biggest margins ever. Thank God we got the serve on up finally against the Bulldogs, who were rubbish. But they weren't rubbish until about halfway through the third quarter. Let's face it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was amazing how that game panned out in the end. But hopefully, we're looking for a good grand final this year, and I think we might have it. But let's just switch to a couple of little bit of current news that's happened, and obviously we love the fact that Carlton have just plummeted to the point where, I mean, that game couldn't have got any worse for them against the Hawks. 4-5
it could have. Damn it! No, it could have. Seriously.
Yeah, well, there was a few more to lose, but I don't think they ran out of time to lose any more. But I see this tweet went up today that the Feds put his hand up for jump on the plane. Mate, probably could do worse than put Fev out there just quietly. I don't know who is going to kick their goals after this, if they're going to get them. So the Blues are in trouble.
Mate, they need it's the thing. Hawthorn pissed me off last week, not because of who they are. Just that should have been a 100-point margin. They fucked it. They completely screwed it. They should have won by 100 points. But
are we saying the 8 is set?
No.
Oh, nah. Look, anything can happen.
No.
I wouldn't. Hawks playing North Melbourne last game of the year. Mate, tell me Alex de Clarkson would not want to beat the Hawks in the last game of the year. North Melbourne, not a bad team.
Yeah.
North Melbourne are a solid right now. I agree.
All right, so I'm going to put the ladder up. You tell me who drops out.
I love Freo.
Who comes up?
I love Freo, but Freo, they're done.
Jeez, haven't they been yo-yos, Freo?
Freo.
Essendon and Collingwood. Really.
Who goes in if Freo goes out?
Carlton.
Carlton won't win another game for the rest of the year. They're done.
Carlton will win this week and next week. They'll get it done this week.
Nah.
Yep.
Who are Carlton
They got
playing?
the Eagles. They got the Eagles in Perth this week, and they got St Kilda here next week.
No
They'll
chance.
have 7 blokes who kick 2 or 3 each. They'll get the score done. Their midfield will kick goals too. They know they just have to.
West Coast by 35 points.
Carlton by 34.
What are we going to have a little bet on this, or what? What are you willing to give up? There's a Bomber support. Now I know why you're a Bomber supporter. You talk like that.
They're all good on the punt, the Bombers.
Mate, West Coast got it in the bag, mate. Mate, West Coast's not a bad team. That's in West Coast. That's in West Coast.
If there's one club I'd like to see just drop into a hole, it'll be Carlton, right? But I do think that they're going to have enough to get the job done this week. I really do. Yep, they've lost Kerno, Mackay, but that actually makes them a bit more unpredictable moving forward as well. So, I think their smalls will step up, and I think their midfield just has to kick goals. You just back them in to do it. And I think, they've won 15 games this year, or 14 games. So I think whatever it is, they've been good enough during the course of the year. I think they actually get up these last 2 weeks.
That's in West Coast, isn't it? That's in Perth.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Nah.
West Coast
5 hour trip there. It's like, nah, mate. If you're a Carlton supporter, mate, book your Bali holidays. Bali holidays, mate, now.
You probably could in the second week of September if you were Carlton, I agree. But I wouldn't write them off just yet.
They'll try hard, but they haven't got the power. West Coast over there, no.
I think a few Scouts memberships went in the bin on Sunday, just quietly. I reckon they thought they were done. There was plenty on the station, well and truly into that third quarter, waiting to get the train home. That was for sure. They were out of there quickly.
If you've got Carlton members, if you've got Carlton people throwing their memberships away after the weekend, they are the biggest bunch of fuckheads I know. What a pack of sooks. What a
Yeah,
bunch
you'd
of
have to be happy with the way they performed this season. They've been
mate.
unbelievable.
The first time they've been out of the 8 all year, and they're throwing memberships away. They're just, oh well, good luck to them.
Yep. All right, boys. That's footy for this week. There's a bit to be said. We said we were all going to tee off, but it didn't really eventuate to too much. A little bit of banter here and there, which is always good. Healthy banter. The good news is the Tigers are going to be shit again next year.
Yeah.
The Bombers, they're probably going to tease their members
Finish
for another
ninth.
year at least. The question is, did they really beat anyone of note this year, Lovey? I know you were pretty flat on them all year, and it was wishful thinking, to be perfectly honest. The Swannies, let's face it, Rusty, you'd be disappointed if they don't get up and get it done, given where they started. Well, they started terribly, actually. Got up flying now, and then now falling apart. So what's going to happen, mate? What is going to happen? Can the Swannies, you're pretty buoyant on them still. Will they get it done?
I honestly think whoever is in the top 8 on the day this time can win it. I think GWS are playing good at the moment.
Yep.
They're playing very good. Hawthorn obviously are playing very good. Geelong again. But, you know, a few weeks ago, Geelong lost and everyone wrote them off.
Yeah.
They lost to Cardinia Park on that muddy night, remember?
Mm.
And, you know, so I don't know. I mean, we were going to lose on last week. Collingwood was going to win that game for sure.
Yeah.
What's the grand final? What's the grand final that you want to see?
Me? I'd like to play a Victorian side if we're in it, because we beat Hawthorn in 2012, but they've only got 46 supporters, so they're no good. We beat the West Coast, and they've got no 1 year, so that's no good. I want to be the proper side.
It'd be good to see Swans and Geelong.
Probably a rematch of the Cats one.
Oh, geez, I tell you what, it wouldn't want to be the same result. That was over after 4 minutes. And again, as I go back about 15 minutes ago, Longmire, he never made a move. He put McCartan in the forward line when it was in the last quarter. We're 97 goals behind.
Yeah.
Soon as Hawkins kicked those 2 goals out of the ruck, make a move. Make a move.
Yep.
We're not that far behind. Make a move. Don't give me that process rubbish. I'm not a footy coach, though, right? I'm just a guy outside the fence. I'll tell you a story. I used to be very close mates with the Swan player. I still am, but I only had one child at the time, and I used to go up there to Sydney at training, people getting rubbed down, out with them for coffees. And after a couple of years, I said to this guy, I'm not coming anymore. He goes, what are you talking about? You love it. I said, nah, the things you blokes talk about, I can't come. I'm a supporter. I'm not meant to know this stuff. You know, Rodney Eade was the coach at the time. Yeah, and he didn't like certain players. It's dumb. It's actually dumb.
Yeah.
And you know what happened to Rodney Eade at the Swans? The first year he came as coach, we made the grand final. We got beat. And he was the best coach ever. And after that, he just went completely downhill and became the worst coach ever.
Well, you know what they say, Rusty?
What?
Should never meet your stars, mate.
No, it wasn't about meeting the stars. It was about the fact that the footy players are humans.
Yeah.
And the Sydney Swans, to me, were like North Heidelberg, but better players. They're just normal, everyday people.
Yeah.
But they're good at footy. You know what I mean?
And they got problems just like me and you. Yeah, they got problems. Yeah.
Yes.
Our brother said the same thing.
About the same things. You know, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It was dumb.
You know,
I didn't say anything majorly stupid, but I just thought, as a supporter, some of the things I just didn't want to know. I just didn't want to know.
Yeah, my brother said that too. about the Hawks early 2000.
Right. It's
I'm
very
not
hard
gonna-
to be a footy coach, though. It's extremely hard. The highs and the lows. I mean, this is not comparing myself to any of those, but when the kids won the under-13s premiership, the parents loved me. The next year, they hated me. The next year, 1 year later, they hated me because I changed things around and I all of a sudden was trying to give kids a go, a real go.
Yeah.
And although that's the law of junior footy, it's not really what the parents wanted. They didn't really want that. They wanted to continue winning because it was better.
Yep.
You know what?
I suffered for that.
Adam, talking about meeting your heroes, the worst story I can ever recall. I got Tim Watson's autograph after we won in round 2 in 1986, coming off the back-to-backs, and he actually spoke to me. I was 10 years old at the time, and I had 32 everywhere. If I was 18, I would have had 32 on my fucking forehead, and he was just the best footballer that the game had ever seen. All the rest of it. The next week, VFL Park against the Dogs did his knee. I thought that was my fault. Don't meet your heroes. Don't ever meet your heroes.
It's not a bad bloke. They're not, there are
Yeah,
really
great.
great role models.
I blame myself because I pestered him.
Yes. All right.
I've had
Well, we're
one
going
of those
to.
moments. I
just
don't
gonna
let
cover off-
anyone say good luck to me. I'll
Good
tell
luck,
you,
mate. Good luck.
These are true stories. I said good luck to Corey McKernan. He done his knee.
Yep.
I said good luck to Wayne Schwass. He broke his arm. I said good luck to Peter Caven the day Plugger squashed his nose. Right? And I saw there's a guy who plays local footy. Well, he doesn't play anymore. His name's Sean Ayres. And he used to play for McLeod. And I was at a game. I said, good luck, mate. And I laughed. He goes, why are you laughing? I said, I shouldn't say that because every time I say it, something happens. He goes, oh, yeah. He kicked the first goal within about 4 seconds. And 15 seconds later, he's hobbling off with a hamstring. And he walked up to me and he said, you're a fucking idiot, mate. I tell people all the time when they say good luck to me, I say, don't say it. Don't say it.
Don't say good luck to any of us.
Yeah, correct.
All the best. All the best.
Well, speaking of all the bests, the AFL Grand Final entertainment has been chosen, boys. And here's a little sneak preview. This is what I understand it to be.
Oh, fucking Raygun.
What the fuck was that? Seriously.
I thought you were going to put up Katy Perry. That's just as bad.
No, but there could be, that potentially is one worse. Has there been worse? That's almost a Meatloaf moment, isn't it?
I'll
social media.
I'll back Meatloaf's effort in to be better than what Katy Perry would dish up on that day. No one fucking wants it.
Yep.
Find me someone who's got a football sort of muscle in their body would think, oh, Katy Perry's a really good option as entertainment at a AFL game, a grand final. She seems to fit in. She'll fit in quite well. What the fuck are we doing with our entertainment every year? They've got it right once or twice in about 35, 40 years, I reckon.
Which ones have been right, you reckon?
They did get Robbie Williams right. Kiss was fine. Kiss was great. And especially at such short notice, I thought they actually hit the right chord with the crowd that was there. Look, to a certain degree, the Killers were pretty good, 2017. But outside that, Jesus Christ, I'm struggling to work out because you don't remember them. If you don't remember them, they can't have been that good for me. I mean, Angry Anderson,
here's my take.
Yeah.
Here's my take as a musician, band guy, and a football lover. Footy and music do not go together. Yep. They go together in a film clip, no problem. Tough rock song where people are getting bumped and all that. But that's not what Aussie rules people want to see. Bring back the sprint. Bring back whatever the longest kick, whatever it is. They're just trying to fill in kicking across the Yarra with a show, a television show, you know, because that's the way people look at things now. They watch everything on telly and everything on their phone and that. But honestly, I stood next to In Excess when they played. They didn't have Michael Hutchins. And it was stupid. It was just stupid. It was daylight. They looked like they were at rehearsal. They played. They were miming anyway. Everyone mimes. Know that. Everyone mimes. Right? They don't play live. Nobody plays live. The Killers probably played live at the night time, and that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Music and footy have never gone together for me because I still think Up There Kazale is better than every song that they put up. Like when Mike Brady sings, it actually means something.
Well, it's football related.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The other stuff is not football related. And Katy Perry is not football related. It's dumb, man. It's just dumb. You don't need to do it. You can save yourself a lot of money. The reason they say they do it is because of the overseas, the content for the overseas people, right? And everyone else who gets on Facebook and that said, well, we want to have a great Aussie band. Well, who? Who are you going to put on? Name a massive Aussie band right now.
Not that it's not a reform job like Cold Chisel. They're about the only ones that could pull it off.
Yeah, they don't want to do it though.
No,
Could probably get Diesel,
No.
Braithwaite, he's 75 now. Farnham's sick. Who are you going to get?
No.
Aussie rock. I love Aussie rock.
Diesel's American, by the way. He was born in America. He's American.
But we've claimed him like everyone else. No,
Well, we've claimed them all. There's no real Aussies as such.
Well, I was watching on YouTube. I was watching an interview that I've been watching a lot of John Farnham stuff lately, and interviews, and he's saying how he grew up in Dandenong.
Yeah.
I'm like, he lived in Dandenong as a kid. Like no one knows that. So yeah, look, I love Aussie rock. It just brings a feeling, but the thing is, all these guys are too old now. Ian Moss, mate, he's 60 now, 65.
Yeah, I think he's 70.
Barnes, he's doing it.
He's not 65. I'm 64. He's older than me. Yeah, I think he's 70.
Barnes, he's done his hip. He's getting his hip done. I mean, I love John Farnham, mate. You go to all these big day outs. You go watch all these bands playing. Guess who sings last? Guess who everyone waits for? John Farnham. But
I was going to say, if you say Braithwaite, I'm fucking never going to a grand final.
Just say you've got two guitars on the wall there, or a few. Just so you know, the big day out hasn't been around for 15 years. But anyway.
Well, all those we have a lot of
Red Hot Summer.
Yeah, we have.
The
Yeah,
only one now.
There's one.
Blues Fest has just been killed off.
It actually just got released. It actually just got released. It's going to have, I think it's December 7. It's Tina Arena. It's Richard Marx. It's Southern Sons is playing. Jack Jones. That'll be good.
Yep.
And who are the other ones? Jack Jones.
1927.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've come back just as a group, just to play. But, it's nostalgic.
You
Blues
understand
Fest.
why those people play, though, don't you? All those people's audience are over 50 years old.
Yeah,
their kids
it's
are grown up.
Yeah.
They've got credit cards in their pockets, and they want to remember what it was like to be in their youth. So it's a good thing, but it doesn't help the industry anymore. And the music industry will drop away even more now because the Prime Minister was talking about how well we did in the Olympics. So he'll siphon money from arts and stuff to go into sport, which is okay. But the only way to get a government grant now is to say that you'll play regional shows.
Oh, that's
And-
why they're doing it now. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, they've done it for years. They always want people to go to regional, but
Why
none
are
of
they
the
skipping the Blue
none of the
Fest?
big bands go regional.
Yep.
They won't
Blue
go
Fest.
regional. They just won't do it. They don't have the infrastructure to handle what they want to do. And bands, Aussie bands, or probably Americans, everyone, they just charge way too much. Way too much.
Mm.
It's ludicrous the amount of money that people can charge. I know quite a number of bands prices. So let's just say there's a $50,000 Aussie band. I don't have to name it. It doesn't matter. They can easily play for 35 grand or 30. Right? It doesn't make them any better that they're 50 grand. Yes, they done the hard yards back in the day, and they want to reap the rewards of now to the red wine drinkers at Yarra Glen on the Red Hot Summer Tour. But there's 15,000 of them, and they go and watch. So, like that's an industry there for Aussie music, but they're all bands that aren't really doing any new stuff. They're just playing their old stuff. And that's okay. They're allowed to reap the rewards of what they did years ago, but you don't need to get 50 grand. You can pay for 35 grand every weekend for 4 months or however long it takes and make a shit ton of money because the money's not around. It's just not around.
The music industry's fucked. Like, with all this AI as well, which is like really, it's killing the creativity of all these musicians.
Yeah.
People aren't even writing their own songs anymore. They're just, they go in AI, and I've written a couple of songs I've got on my YouTube channel. I wrote them with AI. You should check them out. And when I tell people,
because that's
I'm
what
like,
you did.
I'll send you this song, and you
tell
like,
people that's what you did.
no, I just did it for fun, for a bit of a shit stir. I did it for a bit of fun, just because I explore a lot of things online. I try to learn new things. I don't just. I got my ways, I'm an '80s baby, so I like to still learn new things. I did it for a bit of a shit stir, but mate, music industry, fuck. I know people that
very hard.
Unless you're like someone, I mean, even these musicians that are playing for all these, Tina and all that. I know quite a few of them. Friends of mine, the guitarists and drummers and stuff like. Even they're making. They're not. They're really struggling, and these guys are like, they're fucking cats, man. They can play. They're great guys. There's just no money.
No, the average.
You stop playing.
The average wage for that person is $500.
Huh. I asked them, how much do you play for? And they're like, how much do you get in your gig? Like $200-300. I'm like, what? $500? What?
Yeah.
$100? What?
But a band is making 50 grand, or a solo artist is making 50, 70. They make so much money. The high end ones make a lot of money. And they don't care. They figure it's and I agree in a certain terms with them. They figure that they did the hard work back in the day, and if they can reap the benefits, it's like putting away your what do you call it when you get paid every week, and that when you retire you get your superannuation. Yeah, it's like their superannuation. That's what it is for them, because no one's going to look after a muso, mate. They're not going to look after a muso. They have to look after themselves. It's the way it is. It's the way it's always been. A support band will get $150. I supported the Angels in 1978 and got $100. So that's how high it's gone up. $50 in all that time. It doesn't move with the times for the support bands. You want to do a proper support, you actually have to pay people now. Anyway.
Yes. Well, as Berkey's just touching on, mate, there must be still some cash out there somewhere. It's just who's getting it.
Yeah, that's right.
That Monday gig, 40 minutes for 60 grand plus expenses.
Who's that?
Not a bad gig. Berkey knows someone that's playing at the Monday Bash.
Yeah.
you probably even know the band, Rusty, but yeah, it's sad that these, and then you got festivals dying off like Blues Fest. That's been an absolute staple for so many years. But at the end of the day, the well's got to run dry at some point. You can't guarantee ticket sales. Everything's getting expensive. It's a struggle to bring big bands out now. The dollar's kind of still cactus. Let's face it. We're losing venues left, right, and centre still. Thank God the Punters Club someone's kicked that in the guts and it's going to start again. But once again, it won't be the same as the old-fashioned Punters Club, Rusty, as you know.
Where's the Punters Club in Brunswick Street?
Brunswick Street, yeah.
That's going to start up again.
Yep, it's about to open in a couple of weeks.
That and the Evelyn used to be amazing. The Evelyn's still going.
Correct. Yep.
Fuck,
Maybe it might
find
find even again just being able to have a venue across the road. So who knows? That could be the next little hotspot.
Well, that's what you want.
Correct.
There's a street in France that all the music stores are in, and they're all across the road from each other. There's 30 music stores, and that's where everyone goes.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Yep.
They're not
and also we talk about just musicians and bands and venues and who's making money, but it's all the other people that come with it, isn't it, Rusty? Sound guys, lighting guys, photographers,
stage guys.
Yeah.
Groupies.
And there's the punter, right? And the punter, at the end of the day, is still forking out $25 to go and see a gig. And $25 just isn't going to cut it anymore when you just can't get that amount of people through the doors anymore. So there's a very small amount of us that are prepared to pay 40 and 50 to go and see that a similar type of band with a decent lineup. But you put 2 or 3 bands up, 4 or 5 in a band, it's still not getting paid what they're worth. That's 100% for sure.
But it's not even about that. So what a lot of punters wouldn't understand is the bands rent the space. So at any gig we might play, they take $4 for every person that comes through the door to pay for security and bar staff. Why is the band paying for that?
Yeah, I agree. That's why they're selling beers.
So if you got 500 people to a gig, you give the venue $2,000. Yeah.
And then pay sound guys on top of that.
Yeah. And a lighting
guys.
And a stage guy.
Out of the band as well. Yeah, it's madness.
And the main act pays for the support band as well now.
Yeah.
Are you still performing, Rusty?
Yep. But basically the venues just say, well, it's that expensive to run a venue because insurance is massive now. You want to play here? That's what you have to do. And you either say yes or no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And usually you say yes and you don't worry about the money. Money's not a thing. Playing a gig is about the enjoyment of playing.
Yep.
I've never played an Electric Mary gig and gone, oh my God, we're going to get this much money. Never. All I think about is, are we going to be good? The rest will take care of itself.
Yep.
On that note, I'm going to bed.
That's good words for a young musician. Keep punting. Keep pushing. It's not about the money. Don't compare yourself.
Punching. Oh, it's not about the money.
Yeah.
You can always make money, as Venom used to say. You can always make the money, but you'll never make back the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Wise words, Rusty. Adam and I are going to hang around and talk Olympics for a couple of minutes, but thanks for jumping on.
How good were the Olympics?
You want to stay for 5 minutes? We're going to only talk for 5 minutes, honestly. We're just going to touch on a couple of things.
I'll stay.
Now,
I love the Olympics. It was amazing.
For me, there was a couple of moments in amongst the Olympics. Let's start with the opening ceremony. Good or bad, boys?
Didn't see it.
Fair ball.
Look, they tried to change the whole opening. They had all the players from the countries come down on the barges on the boats. It rained. Look, it probably looked better on TV. From all reports, it was a bit average because it's basically set up better for those watching. for the spectacle on TV, beamed around the world. The images, look great from what we saw. Pete, you read 3 articles, they shit can it. You read 3 articles, it's the best ever. I mean, look, I didn't really watch a lot of it, but from all reports, after the opening ceremony, the games was a success. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I love the horse going down the river. It was amazing. I
And
loved
the music. Yeah, the music was very powerful, iconic. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, the rain didn't.
I didn't really see the opening ceremony. I just saw the horse bit. I just saw bits and pieces, but I absolutely loved it. And the girls that swim for Australia are amazing, just amazing.
Yep, we're incredibly lucky. Great Olympics for Australia. Both the pool, the track, probably the best Olympics I've ever witnessed, to be honest. I think we cover it so much better these days as well. Even the minor sports. Yeah, there's options now. There's 20 channels if you're lucky enough to be able to pay for pay-per-view sort of stuff. There's plenty of stuff you'd never see before. There wasn't a moment that couldn't happen that wasn't snapped and captured around the world, including some things people didn't know about. If anyone knows about Bob, the cap catcher, there's a story that he was at the ready anytime a cap came off someone's head in the pool to dive in and get it. What a bizarre performance. But probably no more bizarre than this superstar from Turkey. What a moment. Became a cult hero within moments.
He's probably used to doing that outside his front door, though.
Absolutely.
I think what was iconic about that guy was all these other the people that he was shooting against had all the glasses with the arrows and this, and it was like it's like a this thing on his face that is very like almost like a they're like snipers, and they got all these little gauges to point and stuff like that, and he just gets up and goes bang.
Yeah, it was,
so he had nothing. Yeah, so I think that was probably the funny thing about it.
Yeah, and then obviously the iconic poses started to come from there. After that, or went everywhere. To be honest, even made a place in the AFL over the weekend. So it's amazing what little moments can fly around the world. And we've all chicaned Raygun. Let's face it, the Australian supposed breakdance scenario, but there's always more to the story. And I'm not too completely familiar with the story other than the fact that apparently she's got a PhD or doing a PhD in breakdancing.
Cultural,
which is kind of scary. But all I know is that this is taking the stage too. So someone's done a great job to take the piss there. But it's amazing what will become popular on social media. But definitely, she's become more popular than this girl, the Huck Tour girl, which Rusty had know well, being mid-60s and all over TikTok. So
I know who she is, though.
Yeah, correct. You wouldn't miss that. How different would that be back in your day? No mobile phones, even at gigs, Rusty. No one.
Well, you had nothing.
Awesome moment.
Nothing, and now even Keith Richards is doing a TikTok, telling everyone they're playing in Barcelona tonight to 120,000 people. Why would you bother? Who told him to do that?
Correct.
Surely he doesn't want to be relevant. He's relevant anyway. He's Keith Richards.
Yeah.
That's the bit I don't understand. And that's the bit that's cringeworthy. Yeah. To me, that's cringeworthy. I find it hard enough to try and sell something to people. I am actually embarrassed doing a Facebook post or an Instagram or whatever. But if you don't do it, then no one's coming. Because you don't write an invitation, lick stamps, and send it to someone's house anymore. You just do a post. But you don't know, unless you want to pay money, you don't know where your post is going. Who's it going to? How many of your people are seeing it? It's,
Yeah, well, as you know, Rusty, back in the day, mate, Beat magazine was a thing. It used to be a weekly Herald Sun size that was on every cafe and street corner. It's
Impressive
now into,
and deep.
and Impress, yeah, absolutely. It's now turned into an A4 monthly issue where they go and put out a gig, put out a gig guide in amongst all these things, and the gigs are over before you even get to see the bloody book. So, yeah, it's a shame. But you're right, social media has kind of taken over the only way to know about a gig now. But look, a few things have taken off. What's your thoughts on the big Snoop Dogg being involved in the Olympics? Was it good or bad? I thought it was a little bit cringe at the start, but it kind of warmed to it, and I actually think he did a bloody good job promoting.
I didn't see any of the Snoop Dogg.
I think it was good. But I think his whole part in that was because it was the transition from Paris to LA.
Yep.
So he was, he was there for the whole Olympics, in this behind the scenes and the parties and that. And then he played a part in the end where the closing ceremony when, what's his name, Tom Cruise came down.
Yep.
And it was the handing over of the baton basically to, I think, Dr. Dre. So, yeah, so it was, look, it's basically to represent LA, America. He's a bit of a character. You need a few characters still. So I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I think they definitely stepped up the music artist content in amongst the Olympics now. And we talked about music doesn't, maybe not a place in sport, but I mean, that was a beautiful tie-in, I thought, anyway, in amongst that. I mean, Snoop was there on behalf of CBS, and he was basically all there every day filming back to America, to pump up LA. But the cross back to the Chili Peppers and all that was a little bit cringe, and it was still a band I love, but I suppose it was just expected, but it was well done. I thought it was well done. So on the whole, I think the Olympics was a big win, and I think LA is probably going to match it. I got a massive concern over Brisbane, though. What the hell's Brisbane going to do? Honestly,
look, we'll just get over LA first, and it depends on where the country is at the time, and a lot can happen in 8 years.
True.
What if another COVID hits? What's
not if Melbourne's not if Australia's building anything? It won't happen in 8 years.
I don't know if you've been to Brisbane in the last 20 years, but they still haven't finished the freeway. It's still going.
Yeah.
And it just looks like it did when it was at the start. So hopefully they fix that.
Yeah. Our good mate Rusty Jace asks, skateboarding, surfing, BMX, breakdancing, they're all bigs and new to the world of the Olympics. But surfing, to me, it was a snore fest. The weather wasn't right. They were out in the middle of nowhere near the Olympics. They were staying out on ships. The weather wasn't great, so I don't think it was a real good spectacle. I really can't understand how sports like beach volleyball played on day one and played on the last day as well. Like, I know there's so many teams, rounds, all that story, but it seemed to absolutely go forever. So that got milked.
Because it's the sexual aspect of it. It's the same with the running. Come on, those girls. What, they run better because their shorts are up their crack?
Yeah,
come on.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute sexual thing that they're doing. Maybe not the girls. Maybe they're told to wear those outfits or whatever.
What I thought was really interesting on that, Rusty, is the Brazilian girls for beach volleyball were the ones that actually started with the original cut-in style bikinis, and in the end, this Olympics now they're actually wearing bike shorts. So the world's potentially changed a little bit. Who knows in that space? But as sportswear designers, someone's got to play their part, because you're right. The old hoo-ha isn't the answer necessarily for the female athlete.
That's all. That's every meme that comes across Facebook and.
But it wasn't just the women too, mate. There was obviously this moment for. Let me just find it here.
The polevaulter.
The old French polevaulter that didn't go missing there at all. Didn't leave much to the imagination, but a bit of a Chervaux moment there for the great Frenchman. But It's interesting, isn't it? The Olympics. The interesting Qantas is taking on the old Raygun, the kangaroo pose. So it's not all bad, mate. Hopefully she can make a few bucks out of this. I believe she's not coping too well with the sledging and everything that's gone on with it. So hopefully that there is still a mental health aspect of this component that she's gone and done. And okay, something out of the box, maybe. Maybe she believed someone that said this was a good idea. She probably still thinks it is a good idea, but let's face it, we wouldn't know who she was unless she either won gold or silver or bronze, or came stone motherless last like she did and didn't get a point. So there's a positive to it.
Yeah, she's on the map. She's put Australia on the map.
Correct.
She 43-year-old. She obviously had her reasons behind it. She had her reasons behind it. She's made an impact. She's they were mocking her on the Jimmy Fallon show. I think they had a She's popped up in a few little skits here and there. Look, she'll capitalise. She'll work it out. I mean, she's hot at the moment. In a month's time, are we going to be talking about her? Not sure, but you're going to remember it for sure.
So the interesting part is breakdancing. We go to the home of breakdancing for the next Olympics, and it's not going to be there. Really interesting move. I'm not sure what sports at LA are bringing in. I haven't heard on the words on that one, but I believe breakdancing is not one of them, and it's going to come back for Brisbane. So little bizarre.
So who has the rights to make those decisions?
So the host country gets to bring two sports in, I think, if I'm right. Okay. Skateboarding looks like it's going to stay.
Yeah, that's a good sport. It's good.
Which there were elements, I don't think the female street skating was the answer, but it is quite a new sport, so they're very, very far behind that space. But that's a growing phase. And a good mate of ours, Berkey, reckons $500K US a day for Snoop. So that's a big way to get a return, isn't it? Geez, Snoop's absolutely cashed in there, hasn't he?
Drugs with that.
Yeah, and then the big question, tennis, golf, soccer. I don't mind soccer in the Olympics, but you're right. It's not the pinnacle for them. Is it the answer, Adam? Do you continue those kind of sports? I think tennis into the Olympics just feels a bit weird for me. And I know it's been there for a little while now, I think. Golf I feel like I was watching another tournament. It just didn't feel right.
Golf, not sure. Tennis will stay because of what Djokovic, when he won that gold, and Alcaraz, who was in it, when he won, it's kind of lifted the profile of it, and he wanted that gold to finish off his set. So that'll stay. I'm not sure. I mean, golf will stay. Do people watch it? I love golf, but I didn't really watch it. I mean, netball might work.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure if every country's got a netball team. But look, I think we might have to watch this space to see what they're going to come up with. Maybe, don't know, push-up contest?
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a sport that you think you know, or a sport or something like a sport these days? It doesn't have to be a sport by the look of it. Could darts be in the Olympics?
Oh, yeah, darts. That could work.
If we get to shoot things, why can't we shoot a board with a dart? So who knows, mate?
Yeah, we've got some world champions in darts, actually, both male and female.
Yeah, the old
so we're at the top of that. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. But there you go, mate. We are going to do this again, Adam. This has been fun, mate. I think we're going to do a couple of little skits, well, not skits, but chats between you and I, and we may be bringing in a separate guest. So we're going to tie a little bit of a collaboration style podcast between you and I, and we're going to choose a random guest here or there, and we're going to really come into them from a couple of different angles, and have a chat about their life and get to know them on both podcasts. So how does that sound?
Mate, sounds great. Thanks for having me on your show. It's great to meet the guys. They're all characters. They're all different, and it's been enlightening. And you know what? It's just great to have a chat about certain things. People can watch us if they watch, and we'll see what the future holds. But yeah, definitely we can look into that. I'll be happy. That'd be great.
All right, it's a little bit about 3 podcasts in one that we've talked about tonight. We've covered many things, so we might have to split this one up over time. But thanks for your time, mate. Great to see you. Get out there, enjoy the Hawks while they're on the rise. And most importantly, check out Listen to This. That's where you want to be. That's the podcast. And also Around the Pan, .com.au. Make sure you get around this one. If you're looking for some great food, and most importantly, Spanish food, flamenco dancing, Adam's your man. Go and get it done. So check it out. All right, mate. We'll see you out on the street somewhere. Have a good weekend.
Worries. Thanks, Aaron.
Go Hawks.
Go Melbourne.